Hello Xano community and welcome to release 1.66. Included in this release is NPM package support for lambdas, an AI lambda assistant, an API request assistant, text template engine, autocomplete and subpath improvements, and an updated patch endpoint. Let's take a look at the lambda assistant. The lambda assistant can be found inside of a lambda function by clicking here. With the lambda assistant, you can ask it to generate any kind of function you want. So we're going to ask it to create a QR code based on a URL. We can see an explainer of the generated code as well as the code itself. Click use this code and then save our changes. Let's test it out. And there is our generated QR code. We can also iterate on existing code, so let's ask it to change the colors. So now we have updated code that turns our QR code to blue. And here is our new QR code. Make sure to rate the AI responses so we can continue to improve the functionality. If you need to start over, you can just click restart right here and you can begin again. We're also launching NPM package support, allowing you to leverage thousands of NPM libraries directly in your Xano backend. This could be anything from the QR code generation you just saw to PDF creation, image manipulation, and more. Just import the package or have our AI assistant find the right one for you. Now let's take a look at the API request assistant. This assistant is designed to help you build external API requests so you don't have to manually construct them and pore over API documentation that may be kind of difficult to understand. Let's open the assistant. We're going to ask it to get all of my latest transactions from Stripe. So here's our generated API request, and it's also giving us instructions for any modifications that we might need to make after the fact. This will typically be something like adding an authorization token. Let's do a little bit of a simpler example so you can see the whole thing start to finish. We're going to ask it to get me a random dad joke. Let's apply the suggestion and run it. So there is our random dad joke. This is going to save you a lot of time when connecting with third-party services inside of Xano. Our template engine allows you to dynamically construct large blocks of text, such as prompts for your favorite AI models, using inputs, data from your database, variables from anywhere. In the template editor, you can see all of the basic syntax on the right-hand side, as well as some examples that you can work through. The template engine supports things like loops and conditionals, which allows you to get really specific with the end result. In this example, we're using the template engine to build a prompt for an AI model that we're using as a creative writing assistant. Our template supports different types of writing, such as stories and poems, and also takes some inputs for the genre, setting, tone, and so on. All we have to do is provide some inputs, send that prompt to our favorite AI, and let it run. So let's go ahead and try one now. We're going to have our template engine generate a prompt for our AI assistant to write a poem about Xano. So we can see we specified the type of poem, and we can see that indicated in our prompt, as well as the theme. And we can see the style and length reflected in the response from the AI model. Now, if we want it to write a story instead, all we have to do is change our inputs and run it again. Here is our new prompt asking the AI model to write a cyberpunk thriller with all of our additional data here. And the response. We did not have to create separate API endpoints or functions or anything like that for this to work. Our template engine builds the prompt depending on what we specify in our inputs, and the AI model does the rest. You can also use the template engine to generate things like HTML, SQL queries, Markdown, email templates, and more. The possibilities are really endless. With the power of the template engine, you have the ability to build one function that can do a lot of different things really quickly. We've significantly improved the autocomplete and subpath creation experience. In most cases, Xano will now maintain context for what your variables will contain. So we can see we're getting a record from our user table. Now, if we need to get a specific piece of data from inside of that variable, we have a new option here that we can click on that lists all of the available properties from inside of that variable and select the one we need. Our default patch endpoint has been updated to be more dynamic and make sure that it returns the expected result. A patch endpoint is typically designed to only update the fields in a database record that are provided, as opposed to updating all of them like an edit record would. We're now leveraging a getAllRawInput function to get all of the inputs that are sent to the API, and in the patch record function, we are using a couple of filters to remove things like null values and empty text strings, which some front ends will send automatically whether you tell them to or not. This gives you a great out-of-the-box experience for a patch endpoint. If the front end that you're using does not send null inputs or empty text strings, and you need to allow those to be written if they are sent, you can just remove the filters from here. We hope you enjoy these updates, and please let us know what you think.